Hello, and welcome to the Carla Knits podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, crocheting, and always all of the yarny goodness that I love. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am coming to you from Nebraska. It is Monday, April 3rd. A big hello to everyone, whether you are a returning viewer or if you are stopping by for the first time. Welcome. I hope you enjoy this episode. I sure appreciate you taking your time to catch up with me whenever I post a video. So thank you to all of you. Other places you can find me are on Instagram and Ravelry as cbcraftygirl. And we do have a podcast group on Ravelry for Carla Knits. And we currently have 3 make-alongs going on. So I'm going to just touch on those briefly. We have 2 year-long make-alongs or knit-alongs going, I guess they're make-alongs. So 2 year-long ones that are going on. The first is the blanket make-along. So this was started because I had 4 blanket works in progress as of December of last year. So I had 4 different blankets going. And so I thought I would like to spend some time this year, really giving those blankets some attention. And I thought, there are plenty of others who maybe have some blanket whips too, or if you wanted to cast on new blankets, that's fine. So there is a general thread in Ravelry in our group to post finished object pictures, to chat about your blankets. And for that make along, I will be drawing a prize winner in June. So we're doing it in June and then in December. So 2 times, like a pattern for a pattern of your choice. So 2 times a year I'll be drawing from that. And then the other year-long make-along is the Love Your Stash make-along. And this is to use items, I guess primarily yarn in our stash, because most of us are knitters that use Ravelry, but it certainly could be other crafts as well. And we did have some quilts actually in the blanket make-along, which is great. So it could be sewing, fabric stash, anything like that, but primarily yarn. So using the yarns that are in your stash that have been stashed previous to the beginning of this year, or using patterns that you have purchased or have had in your library prior to the beginning of this year. If you need to add to your project with some new yarns, that's fine, or new projects with your old stash yarns. I hope this is making sense. I think I have all the details pretty clearly written out in that Ravelry thread. So love to have you join in. I know there are other stash make-alongs going on this year as well. So it seems like that is kind of a common theme among all of the creative people, is using up stash. It really feels good to use beautiful things that are in our stash. And then a third make along that we have, knit along I should say, that we have going on is the Love Note KAL. So that is to knit the Love Note sweater by Tin Can Knits. And this started on February 14th and just goes through April 14th. This is co-hosted with my friend Britnee from the TurtleBurger podcast. And I have finished my Love Note, and I think she is probably very close, if not has finished her Love Note. I'm anxious to catch up with her when she podcasts again to see how her progress is. So there is just a general thread over there too. So I know a couple people have joined on in that Love Note knit along. So there's still time if you would like to cast one on. You don't have to finish anything. We're just gonna, I think, probably draw a pattern prize when it closes on April 14th. So the Love Note is a great pattern. If you haven't knit it, I would, if it's something you're interested in, I would definitely encourage you to cast it on. It was a really fun and quick project. But speaking of make-alongs, going back to the Love Your Stash make along for the year, I draw quarterly prizes. And so we have completed the first quarter of the year, January, February, and March. So I have drawn 2 winners, one from the chatter thread and one from the finished object thread. Let's see, for the chatter thread, there were 174 posts. Mine was the first one, so I used a random number generator and put in the numbers 2 through 174, and it picked number 41, which the Ravelry username is Leaner, and that is Eileen. So Eileen, when you see this, please contact me on Ravelry with a pattern choice up to $10, and I will gift you that pattern. So that's Leaner on Ravelry. And then from the finished object thread, there were 234 posts. So we're doing great, guys, with our makes so far for 2023. And my post was number 1. So I put in from 2 to 234, and it picked 142, which Ravelry user is Handmade Studio 11, and that is Wendy. So Wendy, again, if you would like to contact me by Ravelry message with a pattern of your choice up to $10, and I will gift that to you. So congratulations to both Eileen and Wendy for being winners in the first quarter drawing for that Love Your Stash mail. So congratulations to all of you who are using your stash. That feels really good. I hope you are, you know, happy and encouraged by your making and seeing what others make. It's really fun to see how people are using their stash this year. All right, I think that is all of that for now, all of that administrative stuff. So I guess we will go on into what I'm wearing. So today I am wearing the Kaisa tee. This is a pattern by This Bird Knits, and I knit this last year, and it is with the Hobby Lobby authentic hand-dyed yarn. It's a fingering yarn, and I think it was I want to call it the plush blush colorway or peach blush colorway. So really pretty with the little speckles. I don't know how much you can see of the speckles there. But I really like this tee. I just have a little, kind of like a little tank on underneath. Our weather today was supposed to be into the upper 50s. And so I wore this to work, and you know, the rooms I teach in tend to get really warm, and this was very comfortable. So really good for the spring weather. I really love this. So I have thoughts about making another one of these because I find this one pretty wearable. So I really like this pattern. So yeah, I would encourage anyone to try this one too. I think it was really easy. It's knit at a big, you know, bigger gauge for fingering weight yarn. So it goes a little bit faster. And yeah, I think it's a really great little tee for spring. All right, into some finished objects. I really feel a little frazzled and out of it today, guys, so I apologize. It's about, let's see, what time is it? It's almost 2 in the afternoon, and so I thought I would podcast today after work. So I did my teaching at the college today, and I thought I would come home and film this. I really want to try my best to stick to an every 2-week schedule. And I have some show notes written down. I was trying to work on them this weekend, but they're not nearly as detailed as some that I have done in the past. So I will do my best. And if you have any questions, you can always ask in the comments. And everything that I do talk about is linked down below. Pattern patterns that I mention, you know, links to the Ravelry group, all of that should be found down below. All right, but on to finished objects. So my first finished object, oh, isn't this color gorgeous? I just love this. So it's a little warm for a bulky weight cowl today. That's why I decided not to wear it on the podcast. Maybe I'll wear it for a little bit. This is the Royal Mile Cowl, and let me see, by Damie Hunter. The yarn, I'm going to take it off so I can show you a little closer. The yarn is by Lumberjack Yarn. That's Danny. Hi, Danny, if you're watching. That she gifted me, and it didn't have a colorway name, but it's just stunning. The pinks and the purples in there. And I don't know if you can tell the texture, but it's kind of after the ribbing, it's a basket weave texture. So this pattern, I believe, is free on Ravelry. There are 2 sizes, so you can make a shorter version using 1 skein of bulky weight yarn. I decided to make the longer version because I had 2 skeins, and I still do have some left that maybe I could get like a baby hat out of. The needle called for was a US 13, but I mentioned last time I didn't have the size needed. So I used a US 11, and it's plenty big enough and drapey enough. You know, the drape is very nice. So I love this bright pop of color. I just think that is so fun. So Danny, thank you again for gifting me this beautiful yarn. And I believe she has, I don't know if she has bulky weight yarn in her shop now, but she does have some lovely colors in her shop. So I would definitely recommend checking her yarn out. Yeah, so I finished this, and it's almost, it's going to be spring, but this will be so much fun to pull out when the weather turns colder again next fall. Next fall, early winter. Yeah, it'll be nice. Actually, tomorrow it's only going to be in the 40s, so I could maybe even wear it tomorrow. We'll see. My second finished objects I'm going to just show as 2. I made a couple of these crochet dishcloths. So I have I have crocheted this pattern a couple of times this year. This is with yarn that my mom gifted me for Christmas. Hi, Mom, if you're watching. So this is by Hobby Lobby. It's their it's called Crafter's Secret Cotton. I love the names that they gave the yarn. This is called Cutie Fruity. Isn't that so pretty? And then this one is called Fondant Fun. So I think they're so pretty. I did not block these because I am going to just keep these for myself, and I'm going to stick them in my kitchen drawer after I podcast today. So I just want to see how the crochet dishcloths feel when washing dishcloths, because I have quite a number of knitted ones, but I have not really tried the crocheted ones. So I kind of want to try this dishcloth out. But these were really quick projects. If you've been keeping up with me, I've talked about having my projects when I sit with my cat in the evening, when I have to sit downstairs when she eats some of her food. So she likes me sitting in a chair, and she crawls up in my lap for a while, and I work on a project, and it's usually only 15 minutes, but sometimes it could be a little longer. But the crochet projects go so fast. Yeah, so this I believe is a free pattern on Ravelry. It's crochet. I used an H hook, and this cotton I would say it's probably similar to Peaches and Cream, or, Lily's Sugar and Cream. Maybe just slightly softer. I don't know. It's pretty similar, but I think the colors are fantastic. They're really, really fun. So a fun, quick crochet project. So it's kind of nice alternating between, you know, some crochet things and some knit things. Let's see, I believe this is the last finished object I have. So these were so close the last time, but just not quite. But the piglet socks are done. This yarn is by Desert Vista Dye Works in the Zom Piglet colorway, and they are finished. So I knit my socks cuff down with 20 rounds for the ribbing of a 2x2 knit purl ribbing, and then just straight stockinette. And typically I do 6 to 7 inches from the cuff to where I start the heel. I do a slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, and then I work down the remainder of the foot. And I use the toe decreases that is in the Crazy Sock Ladies. Is that right? I believe the one that's in the Crazy Sock Ladies patterns. So yeah, these are really, really super fun. The yarn was really nice to work with, and this yarn was from Deep Stash. So all of the projects I believe I've shown so far. Yep, this was in stash from last year. This is from several years ago. And then the cotton for the dishcloths I got in December, but still prior to this year. So those are my finished objects. I do have a half finished object, which I'm pretty excited that I finished. I did not think I was going to finish this. So this is another sock. Let's see about this. Get this on the blocker. That looks pretty good. All right, so this is the Christmas at Bridgerton socks. It's looking a little lumpy. I don't block my socks, but I might block this one to help it lay a little nicer. But this is the Christmas at Bridgerton sock pattern by Twin Set and Purl. I'm pulling some Carla hairs from it. Do you knit your hair into your projects? So a pattern by Twin Set and Purl. The yarn is by Sassy Strings, and I believe it's Mistletoe Magic colorway. I did not write that down, but yes, it is. Yep, looked from last time. Mistletoe Magic. So I don't know how well it's showing up, but it's a really pretty pastel pinks, greens, creams, and a little blips of yellow here and there. I'm going to take it off the blocker so hopefully you can see the lace a little bit better. So it is a full lace texture down that leg. So beautiful lace. And then for the back of the leg, there is that sweet little lace detail that goes down the middle of just the leg part. So this, I would say, is definitely a labor of love. I think I shared this last time. I have not really gravitated towards this just being a patterned sock. So I love patterned socks. I love how they knit up. I think this is absolutely beautiful. It's lacy and feminine. Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. But to be honest, I am a little, I shouldn't say nervous, but that second sock I feel like might take a while, or I just have to say, you're gonna finish it. You're gonna do it. So that's gonna lead me into my my works in progress. But I feel like this sock definitely has taken me a long time to do. The pattern certainly is not hard. It is a 6-row repeat for the front, and you know, once you get past that part, because it's a different instructions obviously for that part, and then once you get past the heel flap and gusset, then you just have the pattern on the front part, which makes it a little bit easier. But it's just not something I would gravitate towards when I'm tired, or when I just want something kind of mindless. So I do love how it turned out. I think the pattern, you know, is and yarn are a lovely combination together. So very happy with that. So I just have to kind of gear up myself to work on that second sock. So that does bring us into works in progress. And I did my Kitchener last night on the toe, and I said, okay, you're going to cast this on right away. So I did. So I have about 7 rounds of the cuff, and the cuff is a little shorter in this pattern than my usual 20. So the ribbing, and then it's going to go right into that lace pattern. And maybe I just have to tell myself I'm going to do like 2 of the repeats a day, or yeah, and just try it that way. Break it up somehow so it's a little bit more manageable. That might be, rather than trying to sit down in one long thing. Just earlier in the day, okay, you're going to do the 6 round repeat twice, or you're just going to do it once, and that's fine. Yeah, because I just don't want this to be hanging over my head. I don't like to leave my socks unfinished. So that is the Christmas at Bridgerton sock. So speaking of the Christmas sock, I am doing this as part of my friend Colleen. She is hosting an Instagram kind of informal Christmas sock make-along. And I don't remember the hashtag, but I will try to find that out and put it on the screen here. So when she did that, you know, I showed 1 episode or 2 episodes ago my Christmas sock yarn, and I have lots of Christmas sock yarn, and this was one that just, you know, didn't really grab me in the month of December, because, you know, I guess that's when I'm thinking of, you know, the traditional Christmas colors, and this was just so springy and pastel-y. So it's really perfect colors to be working on right now as spring is making its entrance. So very fun to be working on right now. But that's my half entry into that Christmas sock along on Instagram. So love to have you join in over there if you would like to work on some of your Christmas yarns. I will share my second work in progress. This is a new cast on. So when I finished my Zom Piglet, or the Piglet socks, I thought, okay, do I just keep going with my Christmas at Bridgerton socks, or do I want to have another sock cast on? Do you guys have conversations with yourself about, you know, what should you do with your projects? I do in my head all the time. But I decided I just want a plain sock to work on, because this is something that I can grab pretty easy, and I'm just going to finish this row while I'm talking to you. So I just wanted something that is easy to throw in my bag when I'm going to work, because there are breaks in my day where I'll have a half hour off where no student is scheduled. And that's both at the college and at the elementary school where I teach. So I like to have that, or in case someone is sick and I didn't know ahead of time, you know, always like to have my knitting when I go in the car anywhere. Yeah, I always pack my knitting with me, and I haven't had any real small projects to work on because my dishcloths pretty much have been my knitting with the cat. So it's nice to have a vanilla sock on the needles again. So I am using another Christmas yarn, and I am going to make this a shorty sock because this was a 50-gram skein of yarn. Isn't this pretty? And again, it feels really springy to me, but also like the colors, like kind of vintage Christmas, or like mid-century Christmas, 50s, 60s, I don't know, it's just those fun colors. So the mint speckled yarn is called Merry and Bright, and that's by Lamb Woman Knits. And then this bright pinky fuchsia color at the top, which I think goes so well with those speckles. This was a mini that came with another sock set by Teeny Button Studio. So I I thought, no, this goes perfectly. So I am going to make a shorty sock. So my shorty sock that I like is I do about 10 to 12 rounds for the ribbing, and I believe I did 12 rounds for the ribbing. I will do 30 rounds for the leg, and then I go into the heel flap and gusset. So you know, to everybody that may not be a shorty sock. Some people, you know, do the little ribbing and then maybe a little bit of stockinette for the leg and go right into the heel flap and gusset. But this is what I consider a shorty for me. So I cast this on a couple days ago, and it's just kind of been knit a couple rounds here and there. But I love how this yarn is knitting up. So this is going to be another sock for the sock hashtag, Christmas sock hashtag on Instagram. And it's just really fun to have a plain vanilla sock on the needles again. And I think I've decided that I really like the ChiaoGoo needles as opposed to my Hiya Sharps. And I have been knitting socks on my Hiya Sharps for many years now. But the cords are kind of bugging me. So I really like these, and probably a lot of you are saying, yeah, we know. Because I know there's a lot of you who like to use the red laces. So I think I only have one in the size 1 because I bought it and wanted to try it, but I may invest in at least one more in this, the US 1. And then also, I think I want to try it in the US 3 for knitting DK weight socks. So yeah, really enjoying using these needles much more. So I had debated, before I cast this on, I had debated about using this needle to cast on my second Christmas at Bridgerton sock, but I thought, no, I just want to do a plain vanilla sock. So that's what I'm doing with that. All right, let's see what else I have. Let's see, I've got all my stuff stacked here. The next thing I'm going to show is my Feel Good shawl. This is a brioche shawl pattern by Andrea Mowry. And the last time you saw it, I was where that pink stitch marker is, the first one. And so I have worked, you know, it doesn't look like a whole lot, but brioche, any of you who have done brioche know that it does take a little bit of time to do those rows. So I have done, let me just go back to my pattern. For the first section, you do a total of 21 pattern repeats, and these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're actually 8 rows. So that 21 times. So I have done it 13 times. And so I just need to finish, you know, 13. I need, what, 7 more. So it's still going to take some time. I had wished to be further along. I'm really happy with how this is going. I love how this is looking. So the yarn, let's see, this cream color is by Bumblebee Acres Farm in, I think it's the Bennett Sisters colorway. And then this blue is by a Homespun House, and I do not remember what color that is called. I was thinking something about night, but let me see. Oh, no, it's nothing about night. It's called Lake of Fire. Lake of Fire. And I just love the speckles actually in both. They are so nice. So this was going along very smoothly. I shared last time that I had not done a brioche project in a very long time. Andrea Mowry's videos are excellent. They are very easy to follow along. But on a row that I was supposed to increase on, I forgot, and the increases fell at 3 different points in that row. I forgot to do one of the parts, and so I did not discover this till a few more rows down. And so I had to unknit brioche, which it wasn't horrible. I say that now. I was not happy at the time, but I was like, I don't see a good way to correct this without it looking kind of funky. So I think I had to unknit 4 or 5 rows at the very most, which again was not horrible. You know, I was worried that I might not get back on track, but I did get back on track, and I have the correct number of stitches now. But I think after that, I was just kind of like, huh, okay. So I don't think I knit on this since last week Monday, so that would be a week today. I don't think I have knit on it. I just figured, you know what, you're kind of scattered, you know, brioche, you do have to concentrate, you do have to know what you're doing, you do have to remember when there's increases. So just put it away for a little bit until you're a little bit more focused on things. So I do hope to get back to this. I do have, you know, a couple of days off coming up for the Easter weekend. And so I hope to find some quiet time. So I don't watch TV during this. I don't listen to podcasts. I just, you know, like to have it really quiet so I can do this. But sometimes when it's quiet and I'm with my thoughts, that's almost worse because my mind is just going. But at any rate, I do hope to get back to this because this is such a lovely squishy shawl, and I can't wait to have the finished object. I don't know if I have a good picture here. At least that's what it looks like when it's all wrapped around her, but it's a pretty good size shawl. It's a pretty good size shawl. I don't see right off the bat what the finished dimensions are, but I have watched other people who have made this, and I know they are, you know, it's quite a large shawl. So I think that is going to be fun. You know, I will definitely look forward to using that when it comes to next winter time. It's just so nice and squishy. So that feels good. Or maybe even this summer if, you know, if I'm downstairs and the air conditioning is really strong, that might feel really good. So that is my feel good shawl, and still really excited to be working on that. Just need to get back into it. The other work in progress I have is my Willa tee, which I'm making into my Willa sweater. So this is a pattern by This Bird Knits. I guess I can take that off now, although it's not really bad, but I was just going to say it's the same designer of the Kaisa tee here. So This Bird Knits, and this is where I am at. So, oh, it actually smells so good. I use the Chai Spice hand balm from Tuft Woolens, and I can still smell it on my yarn. It smells so good. Have you guys tried that scent of that hand balm? It's so good. But at any rate, I was where this marker was last time I showed you, and here is where I am. So that is quite a few inches. I have separated the sleeves and am just working down the body. So I love this. This is a very relaxing project. So this is something I definitely can just grab and go. It's in the mindless stage now where it's just stockinette in the round. So the yarn I am using is it's the Fiber Company. It is the Light Erin Moore. So I think it is classified as a DK weight yarn, but I think of it more as a sport weight. I would say it's definitely more of a sport weight. And this pattern calls for fingering weight yarn, but I thought the sport weight would be okay to use. And I did gauge swatch for it, so I do know what I'm doing. Well, as much as I can know what I'm doing with my knitting. But the number of yards on here, 328 yards, that would almost suggest sport weight, I think. But at any rate, it's this lovely green yarn. The makeup of it is 80% wool, 10% silk, 10% cashmere. It's not the super softest to work with right now. It's not bad at all. It's just not the softest. It's not like a, you know, a merino nylon. But the swatch, when I blocked it and soaked it, it is very nice and soft. So I can definitely feel a difference between this and the fabric that I'm working with that is unblocked. So it's going to be very drapey, and yeah, it definitely softens up. So I am looking forward to that. I said I'm going to make in a sweater, so I don't think I'm going to stick with short sleeves. I think I'm going to do like 3/4 length sleeves, possibly long sleeves. We will see. But I was just so drawn to this green color, which I saw on another podcast. And when I saw that green yarn, I kind of stopped and paused and ordered it immediately. Do any of you do that? Watch a podcast and you see something, you're like, oh, I have to have that. So I don't do that too often, but this green yarn definitely spoke to me. So that is the Willity by This Bird Knits. I think that is all I want to say on that. That's just in a good spot for just some mindless, fun stockinette knitting. Excuse me. The last project, I think, yep, the last project that I want to show is my Cozy Memories blanket. So this is the project I am currently working on for the, you know, the blanket make-along. If you're just joining me for the first time, I finished my granny stripe blanket for the year, so now I have 3 blankets, and this is the only one that I am actively working on. I have completed 5 squares. I said I could get about 6 squares done in 2 weeks, and that is true. I only did 5 because it squared up the blanket. So I took a picture, which I'll insert here, of the blanket squared up, because I think it's probably too hard to show all of it. I don't know how well you're seeing all of this, but as far as how many squares are in it, there are 144 squares currently. So yeah, 12 by 12. And let me think about this. I'm trying to think how many I knit so far this year. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So I have put 20 squares in this blanket since I started around mid-February. So there certainly have been some days that I haven't done my 30 minutes, but adding 20 squares is pretty good when it didn't get hardly any love the last year or 2. So I'm pretty happy about that. It definitely, if I was using this as a baby blanket, like for the floor or something, I could stop now, but I do want it to be more of a throw size. So I'm going to keep going. I do want it to be a little wider, although I don't know, it might be wide enough. I should measure it. I might go 1 or 2 more rows over width-wise, and then I'll add more length to it. But very happy. Let me show you the squares that I have added this week. So it is these 5 up top with the markers. I don't know what all of these are, but I will try. I do know this is the Woolen Homestead. I don't remember the colorway, but I love her yarn. She no longer dyes, but I do love her yarn. So there are actually several patches in this blanket or squares that are her yarns. This is a Woolberry Fiber Company. Don't remember colorway. This is actually a sport weight yarn, but I thought maybe I could get away with it, but maybe it distorted it just a little bit. But I know let's see, I know I have a pair of socks in this. I've used this colorway in a number of different projects. So I know this color went in my Simple Hug Cardi. It was also in the crochet cowl I used this year, or I crocheted this year, and then a square in here. This I knit a little baby dress, I think early on in the podcast. You know, I get on these green kicks where I have to knit something in green. Yeah, I guess I have a weird thing with pink and green. Those are colors I really like. So that was a baby dress. This was a Night Owl Fibers colorway. It was a Pole Dark colorway. I want to say Cornwall Cove, maybe, but I did make a pair of socks in that. And this was from an advent calendar in 2021 that went into a project, and there was some left, so it went in the blanket. So those are the squares I've added. I've squared it up, and now I will just continue on. So having lots of fun making these squares. I just keep it up in the living room in a basket next to me, and it's just easy to pull out each night and work on that. So those, I believe, are my current works in progress, my finished objects. Just a little bit of chatter for today. I know I had asked, if people would be interested in, in organizing my yarn stash, or, a tour of my sweaters. And so those are things that eventually I would like to do. And I believe it was Jane, one of the viewers of the podcast, that said she would be really interested in hearing about my self-striping yarns. So that one seems a little bit more manageable at this point. So I think I'm going to try to film that one really soon, where I go through what self-striping yarns I have, and I probably will pull out my self-striping socks that I have already knit. So if you love self-striping yarn, you'll want to watch for that video. I thought that would be really fun. But some of those others will still be coming. It's just a busy time of the year with Easter. I am a church musician in addition to teaching at the college and at the school. So I have had some services, and I think, like, for the month of April, I play every weekend except, no, I think I play every weekend. I was thinking maybe there was one weekend off in there, but now I don't think so. So I had 3 services this past weekend for Palm Sunday, and I do have one coming up for Easter Saturday this week, and then I'm back to 3, and then I think 1. So yeah, it's a busy time. So a lot of my time has to go into practicing right now. And we are getting ready to have a piano recital for the kids that I teach at the elementary school. So that will be happening in May. So less than a month now. It's May 1st. So working with the kids on that is a lot of fun. Sorry, this is probably all over the place. Just some, I guess, life stuff to update you with. Jeff decided last week, so late last week, that, after talking over, and we have talked it over very, very much, we are staying put here in Nebraska. He was very excited about the opportunity of the new job, but ultimately right now at this time and for our family, it felt like the right decision. So, we are happy that we are staying. We are, we enjoy the work that we do at the college. He loves his students, his classes, his choir, his organ lessons that he teaches. So at this point, we are staying in Nebraska. So it kind of feels good to have that settled. now. So that is one thing off of my mind, just knowing that we are going to stay here. I shared last time that my son Ryan was moving to Texas, and he has moved to Texas. He moved last week Friday, so we had a final farewell dinner. And that sounds not nice to say, because I know we'll have dinners with him, this just won't be as frequently, but we had a dinner with all our kids, and last Tuesday, and Ryan really likes breakfast foods, so I did a breakfast casserole, and we did pancakes and bacon, so that was really fun. We just talked and we played some games, so it was a really nice family time together. And then he did make it down to Texas. He and his roommates, they all, drove separately with pets and with a U-Haul and everything, but they all made it safely there. And so he's taking a little bit of time off before he starts work. So just getting settled and kind of checking out the area. So he's in Waco, Texas. So he went for the warm weather. So I hope he will enjoy that warm weather down in Texas. Yeah, so that's Ryan. And Jenna has had a lot going on with school musical, and we are still figuring out some college things for her. So we have a college visit next Monday, the coming up Monday. Yeah, just figuring out some things for her. And graduation is on Mother's Day for Jenna, so about a month and a half, and lots of things happen in there. Prom is in there, final concerts, award night, honors night, so those things. And she's working too, so it's just, yeah, it's busy. It's a busy time. It's good busy, but it's busy. So lots to think about. So those are the things that have been going on with me. Many of you have reached out, thinking of me and, praying for me with the job decision. So I really thank you for that. Different messages have come at different times and just have been a real, blessing to my day, a real pick me up, something I needed to hear. So thank you. This podcast is so much fun. But the friendships, even those of you I don't see, I don't see any of you in person, face to face. Some of you I see when we do Zoom knitting, but I feel a connection to you all. So thank you for being a viewer of this podcast, and for caring enough to send messages now and then, or even just subscribing to this channel or giving me a thumbs up. Thank you. It really, really means a lot to me. So I think I have chattered long enough for today. So I thank you again for joining me. Please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. And I hope that you are all doing well. I'd love to hear what you are working on. If you have any, upcoming plans for, new projects that you want to cast on, or new crochet projects that you would like to start, I would love to hear about those. Those are fun. So with that, I will close for today, and I'll see you guys real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.